Hey everyone, happy Friday! Tonight we are continuing on the Granny Square quilt. Here is our block from last night. I'm hoping we can finish another block tonight. We have 3 done, so we got these 2 and this guy. So I'll show you them all in a sec here. Thanks for joining me here tonight. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make cute embroidery kits for the beginning crafter. And I am here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. That's 9:30 Eastern and 6:30 Pacific. And it's a time that we can relax and craft together for about an hour here. So tonight we are continuing on the Granny Squares quilt by Lissa Alexander. There it is, so beautiful. So it looks like it's all done with patchwork, but it's actually done with strips that are sewn together. We've actually adapted the pattern a little bit. We've sewn all of our different lengths of strips together all at once here. That's not quite how it is in the pattern, but we're playing around with it this week a little bit, and I'm kind of liking doing all the strips at once. It's kind of fun. So we will turn this guy, this pile of crazy, into one of these tonight. This equals this, if you can believe it. It is just such a neat process. All right, I am going to flip you around. Let's get going tonight. All right, hello everyone. Thank you again for joining me here. I hope your Friday is going okay. I know it's Saturday for all of y'all. I hope that's going well. Okay, so here are the 3 blocks so far that will eventually be our Granny Square quilt. So ultimately it will have there'll be like a little gap, and it'll have the teal in the middle there. So it'll actually be they'll be a little further apart with this little kind of inner border or sashing with it. So this is kind of the look. This will be the look and the feel of my quilt, and oh, it's just juicy. I think I'm really liking the blue. We started with wanting it to be like the color of the year, the Pantone color of the year, but I didn't have enough of that classic blue color to do for the background, so I chose this teal instead. So all of our blocks have this teal border on the outside, and then it'll have the teal there. So all of our blocks have a teal strip on the outside, and then we are sewing all these strips together. This is actually going to turn into one of these. So let's get going on that. I am really loving sewing these together. This will be the last day we work on it until next month. So we are doing a different project each week of the month, and then we just stay on that schedule basically. So this guy won't be again until the 2nd full week of May. So all right. I'm going to start off. We sewed together our different lengths of strips, and we started them all on one end. This is a little adaptation from the pattern, but we started them all on one end and just sewed them in order by length. So you got your outer piece first. That's my teal, and then the same length piece, and then they just get shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. So right now I am going to trim off, and I'm just going to do this by eye. We actually only need 6 inches worth when we're done, but we're given about 7 inches. So I'm just going to trim this off. I'm not even measuring or anything. I'm just going to basically lop off the different levels. Actually, it's probably going to be easier this way. Then I can use this as a starting point guide. So this is a little goofy, but I thought it was kind of fun. We gave this a go, this technique of doing it last night. I thought it was fun. All right, so now we have basically different sections. We have one that has 6, then 5, and 4, and 3, and 2. And now we're going to press. I'm going to press all the even ones, the ones with an even number of strips. I'm going to press it away from the teal. And the ones with an odd number, I'm going to press them towards the teal like that. Instead of, so not away. The seam allowance will press towards. And that will give us the opposite facing seam allowances, which will help us later to get really nice points so that all our points match up perfectly, like where these crisscross, all of these look really good. And that's because we pressed the seams in opposite directions and they were able to kind of nest together while we were sewing. It gives us really good seams. So evens, we are pressing away. Odds, we'll press towards our outer color, which is that teal. Oh, Catherine, were you doing it like this and it cut half the time of doing these? Yeah, I'm having a real good time. And it's just fun to see all those strips together. I think it's just kind of neat. All right, this one I'm pressing towards. I think this way kind of split it up for me and made the cutting a little bit more fun. Like it was fun chopping apart all those strips when they're all together. And you don't have to think so much. You don't have to measure really. You can just lop them off. Okay, here's an even. And I'm going to cut these all at once as well. So in the pattern, they are all cut separately. We are going to just chunk them all at the same time. So I think we've greatly reduced the cutting and pressing time, which are kind of my two least favorite parts. I want to just sew strips and sew these pieces together. I want to get to the part where I can see what it looks like. I mean, this already is looking kind of fun. Soon, we'll be able to see what the whole thing looks like together. Okay, this is our 5 one. Pressing towards. I'm kind of getting it going by pressing on the back, pressing all the seams towards the one direction. I'm giving a little pull, just so that it ends up being flat. I'm not really stretching it though. Then we're just kind of finishing it off on the front. You guys, I don't know if I saw her pop in yet, but if my mom pops in here, it's her birthday today. We all got, me and my brothers and dad and sister-in-law, we all got on, and John, we all got on the phone, not the phone, sheesh. We all got on the Zoom with her and had a nice long Zoom meeting get together. So that was kind of fun. So we all got to hang out together on her birthday. Oh yeah, my sweater totally contrasts the black. And actually, some of that yellow pops up every once in a while. So now this yellow, I think we kind of debated this. This yellow would have been a really nice for the pop of color in the middle. I'm doing this red in the middle of all my blocks. A yellow would have been really pretty too. All right, I think we are plenty well pressed. Okay, so now yesterday, or maybe I did this, 2 days ago, I just kind of stacked them all. What I'm going to do is I need to trim off the edge just to make it all nice and straight. And then I need to cut them in 1.5 inch bits, only 4, and we're going to have a little extra. So when I did this before, I kind of laid them all on top of each other, but I think today I'm going to just kind of try and just stagger them a little bit so I'm not cutting through so much fabric all at once. So I'm just going to kind of just plop them down wherever here, spreading it out a little bit more than last time. I suppose I didn't really... Let's do that again. I just kind of laid them down, but I actually do kind of want to line them up on an edge too. I wasn't really thinking about that because I do want it to be kind of square. So I'm going to line up at least something on a bottom edge there. It'll be a little straighter. Down here. But yeah, I'm only going to have to cut this once, so it's going to be good. Kimberly, you're live now, and I can see you. All right. So I'm going to trim just this edge, get it all cleaned up. Got my cutting glove on just so I don't accidentally like whoosh off and cut myself. No one wants to go into the ER right now, that's for sure, or at all. Okay, so I'm gonna gently lift that. So while this is all a nice pretty edge, I'm actually gonna rotate my cutting mat. And then from this side, I'm gonna cut in a pile of 1.5 inch cuts. So just 4. But they all get the 1.5 inch size. But this is crazy. This is, after this cutting, this is where it magically goes from like these silly strips into like a totally fleshed out block. So this will be fun. After we cut this, I'll kind of lay it out. Even though that's a step ahead, laying it all out. I'm gonna have to unlay it all out before I sew, but it's just fun. I just wanna peek at it before I sew them all together. It'll be the first time we really get a sense of what it's gonna look like all, as the kind of grid. I'm excited. Yeah, the fun part about this, for sure, for me at least, is I'm picking my strips that construct these all kind of randomly, so every block is gonna look different. It'll feel like it's from the same quilt because, we pre-picked all the colors, we pre-picked, the strips and everything, or the colors of the whole quilt. And we spent a lot of time on that. We thought about the proportion of colors and all that. So we kind of know how this quilt will feel, but we won't know until we see it all. All right, I'm gonna magically make this look like one of our blocks here, but I need a couple more pieces. I need my center square. So just grabbing one of those. And I need 4 of these kind of corner squares. We're gradually getting through all these pieces that we cut. The cutting, that's what took a long time. Cutting all the strips, from yardage and from scraps that I had. Cutting them all into those strips and measuring, all that took the time. But now we're at the super duper fun part. Okay, let's get organized here. All right, so we got 4 of our 2 pieces. We got 4 of our 3 pieces. I'm always going to have the teal going in the same direction on these. Okay, now this is a 5 piece, so somewhere we have a 4 piece one. Here we go. Here's the 4 piece. And then the 6 one. So the 6 one. All right, let's see what this looks like. So I'm going to even put it kind of square like I did last night. So the teal will all be out. And we got this guy in the middle. Ooh, it's going to have that cute little blue eyelashy one. Oh yeah, so much better when they're cut in baggies. I can just like grab the strip. So we have these all my strips are in baggies. And I have them labeled at what the size strip is, because they get smaller and smaller. And I have them all just up above, and I go from boop, 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 just down the row. It looks kind of sloppy back there, but it makes this process so easy. I can just grab and go. I don't have to think. That's the key, right? Not having to think. All right, I'm going to try and get this together. All right, I guess we'll just go around one by one. Let's do that. This is where my brain starts to hurt a little bit. This way. Okay. Let's do 4, 3, 2, and then it'll have the one guy at the top. Yeah, we're getting a sense of it a little bit now. Obviously, this will, get shrunken down quite a bit and fit better together once we've lost all the seam allowances. But we're getting a sneak peek. You don't actually have to do this step. I just want to see what it looks like, so I'm getting greedy. And one of those. Oh, look how cool this blue is going to be. We got this neat square going, like this dark blue square within all these light colors. That's kind of cool. All right, so there we get a sense of what this one's going to look like. Oh, I love this like gray little spikiness that's happening on the outside too. It's kind of eyelashy a little bit, so that's kind of neat. They're all going to be totally different. That's what I love about this. All right, so that was my little sidetrack there. So I don't actually need, oh yeah, I do need these. The pieces I don't actually need for this next step are the center and the 6 pieces. So I'm gonna just put these to the side for now. Now these pieces, these are the ones that we need. So let's just rotate them all so they're the same direction. We'll get our number 1 piece on there. Let's get these all looking the same. So I'm lining it up at the bottom here, and the teal is what's going to stair step down. So whatever your outer color is, make sure that that's what's stair stepping. Not that you accidentally like flip one around and have all the teal at the bottom. I did that a couple days ago and had to get the seam ripper out. I don't really have to put them all in the same position like this, but I do find that if I'm piecing things one after each other, I do like everything in the same direction so I don't confuse myself. There. So next up, we just need to sew these segments together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew the bottom, the little 2 of each one first, right in a row, and then I'll sew the 3rd piece on, then the 4th piece on, and then the 5th piece on. And my goal is to never not have something on the machine. So that's why I have this piece here going. If we get to the point where I have to actually take this whole thing off of the sewing machine before I can sew next, I will sew another strip on to get it off of the machine. And that'll make sense in a little bit here. But for now, I'm thinking this first column, then we add the 3rd, and then the 4th, and then the 5th, and we're just going to kind of go around in a circle here. So, all right, let's get down here. So this is all ready for the next one. We will get to that at some point. We might not get to that till next month, though. This is it for working on this project for a little bit. It's been nice switching up projects, but man, I'm really having fun with this one. It is kind of neat to not be working on the same thing for months and months on end, though. It is kind of nice to switch it up every week. It gives you like just a little bit of a breather, I think. Not you, but like the royal you. Gives me a little bit of a breather. How about that? It gives a person a breather to switch up projects. There we go. So I'm just matching up, you know, this bottom edge. And so see, this last one is still on the machine. And instead of lifting the foot up and taking this completely off the machine, and having my strands of thread, I'm just starting up the next one right away. So this is called chain piecing. And it's called chain piecing because as you go, everything's connected in like one long chain, but it doesn't waste thread. You know, you only have this little piece of thread, not a big long dangly thread. And it really speeds up the process. Like I can just get going here. Versus futzing with thread and doing whatever else. I can just keep sewing. Oh, I saw some of you guys making the stilettos in the Penguin Fish Crafters group. That is awesome. This Thanksgiving, I'll have to try and find some turkey lacers like this because I think that'd be fun to do. All right, I'm ready to sew the third column on now. So I need to trim these off. So here's a little chain going. All right, this is that long strips for the next block. These ones I need, but I can only access 3 because one's still on the machine. So I will snip these away. All right. So there we are so far, and I'm gonna grab one of the ones in the 3 column. So there, we're gonna go like that, right sides together. And now here's one of those seams. So you can see that they're going, this seam allowance is going to the left, and this seam allowance under here is going to the right. That's because we pressed them in the opposite directions earlier. So I'm gonna just kind of match up where the fold is on there, and they physically like bump, like you can see I'm pushing it and they're kind of just stuck together there. So I'm going to, that's what we want. I'm going to hold that there. Now why we're doing that is it will make the corners of these squares match up just perfect. And then we're going to sew to the end here. So what it's going to do is get all of these points matching up just perfect. And they turned out all really well pretty much on this square. So that's the goal. Versus like here, this one's a little off, but you can see how this row line doesn't match up perfectly to here. I didn't quite get those seams perfect. Those seams nested together. Those folds bumped against each other. So we got that little offset. All right, and now since I sewed something else on, I can release that last one here. So let's just get one of the 3 pieces onto there. Let's nest that seam together. And sew to the end. All right, we got 2 more. And you can feel free to pin or clip these seams together, but I did not do that last night and it seemed to work all right. You can actually physically feel when those folds are together, so I just had to go like one by one and kind of feel where they were. And if things aren't matched up, that's fine too. Oh, yay! Christy finished all the French knots on that Liechtenstein portrait. That's crazy. That has to feel good, getting that done. All right, this is our last one, so I will be putting the row of 4 on next. All right, let's snip what we can away here. Oh, you guys, we ordered... Oh, it's not. We ordered beer for delivery. We found not a brewery, a liquor store. Jeez. We found a liquor store in the area that would deliver. So we're happy campers. Or we will be. So you may be hearing that in the background soon. And they deliver this late too, which is crazy. All right, so I nested that seam together too. We have a lot of really good local breweries here. So I think we got some local beers. Some good IPAs. That's what I like having for my beer. It's just so silly. Before the quarantine stuff, we hadn't really had much booze for like weeks and weeks, which, you know, that was a long time for us. But now we got a little bit from given all these delivery services, and now, oh, there is pizza, Catherine. Oh, when we got here today, John, we got a pizza made here. So yep, it'll be beer and pizza, and you guys, it'll be beer and pizza and writing an email. So you guys check your emails tomorrow. If all goes well, I should have an email ready for you with a little surprise in it. So keep an eye out for that. In theory, assuming we get it done tomorrow morning. I made a little fun thing that I think is kind of neat. All right. Is that it? No, there's one more hanging out. Oh yeah, I didn't cut off the one from last time. So that was still on the machine. Like there's another 4 here. Who does it belong to? I'm excited for that blue square, this color in this block. It'll be neat to see this come together. Oh, Charlotte, thanks. Alrighty, that's that. We only have one more to sew onto these segments. So this, went super quick. And it really is from this chain piecing. Like this chain piecing just really kind of zips us through the process, which is great. Because I'm excited to see what this is going to look like. Barbara, I'm with you. Barbara says, I'm amazed at how businesses have adapted to no contact sales. Yes. And you know what? Those are the businesses that are, going to make it too, are the ones that can adapt through this. Like we have a friend, John has worked with him on a job, but like he runs a brewery, and no one can go there, no one can go to the tap room anymore, but now they're doing delivery. So if we ever get over to St. Paul, we're gonna get like these big like crowlers of beer that they have, and it's just neat. So some of the breweries are sticking in there by having delivery or like curbside pickup for, not delivery. Well, yeah, I think they do delivery in that area, but delivery and curbside pickup. You know, the liquor store that we ordered from tonight is completely closed. However, apparently they're doing delivery, so they're staying closed and not closed at the same time. The physical location is closed. I mean, you know, what I don't the problem in the you know, COVID-19 situation is that someone still has to deliver it. So, you know, we kind of fear for their safety a little bit. Well, more than a little bit. So John's going to be wearing a mask, and, you know, there's that whole crazy aspect of all this. But when all this is done, I'm hoping that a lot of this will continue. Or you're tied from the postal service and they're getting slammed with all the packages. I'm sure they are. Like, I hope that's good for business, I guess. You know, like, I hope the people who are slammed with stuff, I hope that it helps them move forward, you know, or helps, you know, keep them in business. I mean, it's definitely tough to adapt to stuff, but I mean, I guess that's survival too, being able to adapt. Interesting times, that's for sure. All right. What do we got? We got one more here. It's looking cute though. Here they are all put together. And there you can see our seams are matching up really well for the most part. And that is from nesting those seams together. Butting up those folds. So each, I'm doing it with the first one. I'm holding that down. And then while I sew, I'm trying to just physically feel where those bump up each other. Yeah, I'm hoping it just improves certain things too. Like, you know, not everyone has internet readily available. And, you know, I mean, if that's going to be such a huge part of everything from here on out, you know, if some of this like e-learning and e-medicine and you know, telemedicine, if some of that sticks around, like if people are like, oh, we like this, you know, it's going to have to make internet more accessible and things to, you know, be on the internet with more accessible. So I'm wondering how it'll improve, like, some of that stuff. All right. Oh, here we are in one of those situations. So I am done sewing all of, like, these little stacks here. But I need to get this guy off of the machine, and since we're playing the game of always have something on the machine, I get to sew another strip to our next block here. So this looks like it was a 14-inch strip, so we have to have one more strip on here. That's a 14-inch. All right, 7-inch strip here. This is the last of the strips. If we run out of this one, then I'll start a whole another batch of strips, which will be kind of fun. All right, so I am going to randomly pick a color here. My eyes are totally closed. Oh, there we go. Little squirrels. Oh, this will work. Little green squirrels. Always fun. So I'm picking randomly, but if I end up with you know, the same one that I just did, or maybe the one next to it, then I re-choose. But this one's gonna work great. Oh, this is gonna be a very fun, colorful block when we get this far. All right. So this is a little confusing because I'm working on like several different steps at once, but it is kind of fun. It's fun knowing that this one's on deck. And this one just goes to here. But I'm just going to kind of veer off a little bit. Oh, hey, Sarah. Yeah, this is definitely, we're getting a little crazy and complicated here. It actually becomes so relaxing, though, once you kind of got it figured. And it becomes easy once we have our trick going, which is just kind of fun. All right, I was able to cut off that piece from there. So let's go over here. We can lay this out now. I think I will have to start a whole another one besides this, so that'll be fun. Okay, oh, we gotta press these first. I was ready to lay it out, but we do have to press them. So I'm gonna get my wool mat out here again. And I'm gonna press them away from the top, like the last piece that we sewed on right here. So I'm gonna press all the seam allowances away like that. And we're going to do the same on all of them. So that part was in the instructions. Renee, go for it. This is for real one of my favorite quilts that I've done, I think, so far. It is so satisfying to make all these pieces out of the strips. It really is fun. But man, cutting those strips was not the most fun thing. But now that I have them all in the bags, ready to go, and all measured out, now, I mean, like, I'm having a total blast for sure. Ah, so cute. We're really gonna get a sense of this soon. All right, we have one more hiding somewhere. Oh, there it is. Oh, yes. So, Kathy, I started doing it this kind of goofy new way where I sew all the strips first. I did that yesterday. Wait, did I do that yesterday? Either yesterday or the day before. It was this week for sure. I think it's more fun and faster. It is confusing, though. I mean, it would have been weird to write instructions in a pattern like this, I think, but it is fun. It's just fun sewing these strips together. It's fun just chopping off all the pieces, and it's neat to be able to cut all of these 1.5 inch strips all at the same time. That was nice because that was all its own step. So there are some fun perks to doing it this way. Yes, the pulling randomly, I mean, that is so satisfying because, I don't really know how they're going to come out till like we're at this stage. And I mean, look how different they are. The first one we did was so checkerboardy, like light, dark, light, dark, light, dark. Then the next one was just super dark and then got lighter and lighter and lighter. And then this one just has like that nice little blue on the outside, a little pale, and then that weird pop of dark green. I mean, they're all just so fun. I'm really, if you can't tell, I'm having a fun time with this one. All right, so here's where we're at. Do like this kind of gray on the outside. That's so cool, this blue. All right, now we are ready for the other pieces that we set aside. The 6 one. These have the 6 on. So we're always, again, we're pointing, the teal goes on the outside. And you wouldn't have to do a random pull. Like, you could do all of these the same, and that would totally be lovely and cute and pretty as well. This is going to be cool. All right, so we have 9 pieces left here, and we're going to sew them together kind of, it's called a 9 patch when you have 9 squares that you sew together. This is kind of imitating that because we have 3 rows of 3. So like this is a row, this is a row, and this is a row. So I'm going to sew the first column of each row. So I'm going to sew this to this, Then I'm going to sew this to this, and then this to this. Again, I'm trying to always have something on the machine. So then I will cut this off, and then sew that, cut this off, sew that, cut this off, and sew that. And we might, well, I think we might have to start another one of these to get that one off the machine, so that'd be cool. Get a few a little further on the next one. All right, let's go. So one of the things I do have to do still are match up all of those seam allowances. So I'm gonna flip the right sides together, the good sides of the fabric together. And here we go. This is where I'm gonna bump those folds of that seam together again. That gives us a really good matched up corner points, or where all the lines meet. They're perfectly matched up. All right, I'm sewn into that first one, so let's get the next one. I'm actually physically feeling these folds, where these folds bump up against each other. I can feel that, and that's going to give me that good point. Oh, this is gonna be so cute. Okay. Ooh, this one's going the wrong way. All right, and then to the end. All right, so that was the first row, first column. This is the second row, first column. Get those right sides together. Just one little piece here. All right, and then the bottom row one. Okay. Oh, you guys, we are so much farther ahead than we were last night at this time, I think. Gosh, we might even get a whole nother one cut, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if that's smart, actually. We have, this will be the last day that we work on this for the month, so maybe I don't want tons of pieces around. I don't know. Maybe I do. We'll have to see. All right, let's see what we got on the machine here. All right, we have our first, we have that long strip, all those strips. So this one's actually ready to be cut, like how we did at the beginning of this video. So isn't this crazy? All these strips is what turns into this. I just think it's kind of magic. Okay, let's cut off, the first one on here. So the first one we sewed, which is what we just cut off, is from the first row. So we can get that other piece. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh yeah. I'm like, where did the center go? But that's in the middle piece now. Gosh, yeah, I got really confused just then. Yep. My brain is one step ahead of where I'm actually at. I was like, where did my red center go? We're not that far yet. That's the next step. All right, last one to match up here. Okay, now let's cut off the next one. This is the row 2 one. Here's the red center. All right. All right, and then I'm going to cut the last one off. I cut them off separately just so I don't get confused at what order I'm in. All right, and after this, oh, actually, I think I can match up the next 2 rows I can do together. Oh, I could put this method into a book. This must be something that someone's done before. I don't know. But that's true. This would be fun, though. This would be just a random weird strip book where we chop them all up and magically it turns out into a fancy block. That'd be cool. All right, I can actually cut the first 2. Oh, no, I can't. I got to press first. So, actually, to get all of these off, I need to, since I do have to press, I need to get this guy off of the machine, which means I can start another whole block. So let's get our starter strip, which is that teal, and let's pull from the strip the 35-inch strip bag. Let's see what we get. All right, whatever this one is here. Oh, it's lots of them. Let's... I can't grab any of them. All right, it's this one. All right, we got a pretty blue. Ooh, that green's got to pop in there sometime. That's a pretty green. All right, right sides together. And so these are the first 2 strips of the next block. Actually, the next to the next block, because we already have all the strips sewn together for the next one. I have a feeling I may run out of bobbins soon. I just had a feeling, and usually when that happens, it doesn't take that much longer. If we run out of bobbin, I think we'll just call it a night. Ah, no, we gotta finish this block. We gotta finish this block. Yeah, Edith, I think this new way of sewing these together is really making this process quick. All right, so now, now we can cut that other piece off of there. And this strip can just hang out. All right, let's press. Okay, where did my mat go? Oh, right behind me. Okay, so now I am going to press these 2 seams here. I'm going to press them outward. I'm just trying to kind of mimic how this top one is laying. So those will get pressed out. Now this one will get pressed in, and then this one will get pressed out as well. We're trying to do them opposite directions so that we can get that nesting effect again, where they all just fit together. All right. So this one, I'm gonna go outward. And there's so many seams here that I don't want to have them folded in the wrong way. I'm just gonna kind of hover on top of this just to kind of get that seam started, or that in the right direction started. There we go. Now I'm gonna give it a good press from the front. Go that way. There. Now, pressing from the front like this, I'm not folding over any seam allowances on accident. All right. Oh, that scared me. Okay, you guys, it's beer time. I think, well, all the strips are different length, Edith. I did put a post to the, there is a pattern for this. So I posted a link to that below in the Facebook post. It'll be in the YouTube post as well. It starts out as, I think, 35 inches, and then they get smaller and smaller. Oh, just there, squish that. I'll get it from the front here. Okay. I am putting my, your hot scorches your wool mat. Yeah, Linda, I'm all the way on high. I mean, my machine, my iron just has a low, medium, high. High is for cotton and linen, and that's why I'm using that. I haven't scorched my wool mat yet, though. That's interesting. I'm using a dry iron, so maybe having a wet iron scorches it a little bit. I'm not sure. Doing the hand washing. Oh, this is so pretty. We will trim this down right away too, because that's what is the finishing touch. Oh, the same. Oh, you have the same iron and you use it dry too. I mean, I guess when I look at this, it is kind of maybe a little browner here. So maybe this is getting scorched a little. I don't know. It still works. I don't think any of the scorchiness is getting on my light colors. But I suppose now that I look at this, if I look like at the edge where I'm not pressing as much, that's a little bit more gray than in the middle. So yeah, we could be getting scorched. Okay, flip that up and we can start sewing these together. All right, we got that strip on the edge here. We're gonna have to add another one of those to get this one off. So we are adding strips still. Okay, now this I would recommend clipping or pinning together, but I'm gonna be dangerous again tonight and we're gonna just sew. Full concentration mode. All right, right there is our first matching. So let's try and get the next one. There we go. Okay, next one. All right, halfway. Now our folds are going in the opposite direction. Still stopping at every one to match up the next one. I mean, you could just scream through this. You wouldn't have to stop at each one, but you probably wouldn't have your points match up very well either doing it that way. Oh, you warped your cutting mat by ironing on it. Yeah, I probably shouldn't be putting this mat on this cutting board either as I go. Because if I iron a lot, then that heat will probably not do good. Oh, Barbara, though, I heard, I've not tried this, but I heard that on like a really hot sunny day, you can lay your warped cutting mat out like on a hot driveway, and it can flatten it out again. I've never tried that, but I've heard other people say that. Other quilty people, so I don't know. If it's between that and having to get rid of it, you could give that a try. All right, I need to sew another strip on here so I can get this one off. So let's get another strip. So the next one down the line All right. Let's hide. Close my eyes again. All right, I'm gonna stick my fingers in here and whatever it grabbed, I'm gonna separate some fabrics. Okay, what is this one? Oh, it's the same one. See, so that's what I don't want to have happen. I don't want the same one. All right, what do I got now? The same freaking one again. Oh my god. All right, we got to blend this together again. If this is the same one, I'm going to freak out. Okay, there we go. All the other ones are just stuck together, I guess. A couple light colors here again. Oh, mostly blues and greens. Pretty. All right, so just so you know, for this project, the cutting directions do not actually have, they do not actually have a separate cutting direction for that middle color, that middle, you know, I'm using that red or that pink. I kind of adapted the pattern a little bit to have that in. So I think those are like the 1-inch squares. Somewhere in the cutting, there's 1-inch squares. Make sure that you siphon, there's lots of 1-inch squares though. So make sure you siphon off, what is it? I think we have 36 blocks total. 36 of those will be your color in the middle. Then the rest will be whatever it tells you it to be. But 36 of them set aside in that middle color. Oh, that's a good idea. That'd be interesting, Lucy. So Lucy's saying, do one block where I look at all the colors. I just have a feeling I'm not gonna like it as much. I'm gonna overthink it. Alright, so the whole purpose of that was to get this guy off of the machine. Oh, it could be 1.5. I don't remember for sure, Jennifer. Oh, 1.5, that would make sense. Yeah, they end up being 1 inch. Okay, so here's how this is looking. We got our center piece in there, and now all we have to do is sew this guy on here. So remember to offset it that one. Last time I almost sewed it up another level, which would have gotten rid of my stair stepping, which is the whole point of this design. I do still really like how this looks, like we sew together a bunch of teeny tiny squares that are all different, but it's just the magic of these strips. That was fascinating to me because I got this pattern, right? I purchased this pattern and I did not know at all it was going to be this strip piecing. I thought it was like use up a bunch of your scraps and sew together all of these little pieces, but it's not. You do actually want to cut from yardage if you can. I know some of you guys have been piecing together a couple fat quarters to make a full strip. And actually you only need full strips of some because as the strips get smaller, you don't need all those to be cut from yardage. So it was a surprise when I started reading through the pattern. I'm like, oh, this is not what I was expecting at all, but it's kind of looks fancy and interesting, so I was excited to get going on it. It only took a couple years. I've been talking about this project probably for a couple of years that we were going to work on it, and this year I finally put together a schedule of how we're doing these projects, and it's getting done now. You know, this is fun doing the strips in between too, because here I'm starting and stopping. Whereas the strips, I can just kind of scream along. All right, I'm gonna need another strip because I gotta get this off of the machine again. All right, we get to pick another one, yay! All right, next one. Doot. All right. All right, I'm closing my eyes again. Is this more than one? Yeah, it is. All right, this painty guy, this isn't, yep, this one doesn't have the painty one in. All right, painty blobs coming up. Ooh, this is kind of a dark one next to these lights. This will be interesting. Ooh, Renee yellow for the middle. That would be really pretty with those colors, I bet. Oh, we're actually going a little over. I kind of forgot that, I'm like, oh, we'll have time to cut another one. But I forgot, you know, pressing and getting it off the machine, all that takes time. But hey, we almost have a whole another one of these ready to go. All right, and that's actually, you know what? I'm gonna fully take this off the machine now, because this will be it for the night. Oh, the machine can breathe now. So next time we work on this, we'll have to sew a couple more strips onto this. But right now, let's finish up our block here. All right, so first off, we are gonna press this. And we have this one, so this one's all ready to go to cut off the little chunks off of. So this will be our next block, whatever this guy turns out as. And then, you know, then we have this one almost ready. This one's on deck. So it'll just be fun. So I'm going to plop these away. Oh, now you see what I'm doing. Yes, so I will cut this off, and then I'll have all these chunks, and then I chop those up, and like, you know, right there is my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's my 6 little pieces, and I'll have 4 of those, right? And then I chop this off, and those are my 5 pieces, cutting that. And then here's the 4, and then the 3, and then the 2. That's why the different lengths. You guys, I am actually, that sounds amazingly fun, Jennifer. Jennifer is saying we could have a Saturday session of this. It won't be this Saturday or next or Sunday. I am working all day today and tomorrow, or tomorrow and Sunday. All right, I'm going to press these out again. But that would be fun. I would love to, some of these big projects that we're doing, like this one, for example. I mean, this is a whole big giant quilt. I mean, we'll have 4 out of 36 blocks done. So that's like, we're like a 9th done, right? So this will be a long time yet. So one of the big projects like this would be really fun to spend a weekend or like a Saturday session doing, for sure. So if I have a Saturday session or a Saturday free coming up, I love that idea, because that would just kind of move some of these projects along too. Because I mean, next time we work on this, we're gonna be doing the same thing, even though I find it very exciting still, because each of these look different each time. But we will have weeks and weeks and weeks, which means months and months and months of this yet. I think my seam allowance got squished. Yeah. Wrong direction a little bit. So yeah, to do like a Saturday session or like a longer session, like a 4-hour session or something over the weekend sometime, I would love to do that. And those are just fun. Oh, and my brother picked out a computer that I think is going to work. So soon I will be able to do lives on YouTube and Facebook at the same time again, you guys. And it'll run way smoother than it has been. And I think that'll be really fun. All right, this part I really like. So we've been working on it as a diamond, but ultimately it's going to be a square. So, nope. I still think there's something about turning this that it all of a sudden changes it. Like our perspective was like this the whole entire time, and now all of a sudden, oh, it's a square. I can see it. All right, let's do the final part. Let's trim down these edges. We've been doing that for each block so far, and it just finishes it off. I really love this part. So again, what we're really doing is kind of just trimming off these little edges. And where they all meet here, where it's all kind of folded over, that's where we're cutting. And it's actually a 9-inch square. So I'm going to line up the 9-inch line and the 9-inch line so it's on, and these edges so it's on that point where it folds there. So I'm just going to scooch everything until it's as lined up as I can get. I think we go back this way a little. Rotate it a little. So I'm getting a little putsy with this, but this is what's going to make it feel square when we're done. Okay, I think that's about as good as it's going to get. Let's go right there. Get the cutting glove on again. All right, and I think I'm going to rotate my mat a little again so it's easier to cut. That edge. Little awkward angle to cut, but we're okay. Those are scraps. Okay, and now we can just rotate that around. And now I'm going to line our good cut edge with my 9-inch marks. And that should get us on those edges again, those little points. So if you don't have a square ruler like this, you can pretty much just cut at those points there and you'll be fine. Shimmy those away. Rotate. And this is it. Best part. It's so pretty. All right. I want to see what it looks like compared to the other blocks. So let's get our other blocks. We have 4 actual blocks now. We have like a mini quilt. We have a legit mini quilt right now. So let's get our other blocks. So this is the order that they were made. This is the 4th. Obviously, this was yesterday's. Wow, look how different those are. That's kind of fun. This is just so kind of, it almost looks like a smaller square because this is so close in color. Oh, that's fun next to each other. I like that. Okay, and then this is our second block. And the first one. So there we are. They're all looking different, but they all look like they go together. I'm going to get a little higher up here. And again, we will have not these strips. They'll be different. I have a different bag of those. But we will have a sashing in the middle of these. So they'll actually be a little spread apart, more like that. And then that, I do not think I'm going to do this one quilt as you go, just because there's a really decorative border with this and some other decorative elements. I'll even show you the border. It is, yeah, so here's this really decorative border. Oh, look how cute. So this is a 4, you know, this is if we stopped right now, they just did that really fancy border. But let's see. Oh yeah, so here's the border. So I think I'm not going to do quilt as you go. I think we'll just assemble it normally and quilt the whole thing, just because there is some intricate border things going on here. But you could actually do this quilt as you go pretty easily. Well, it has some pretty big sashings. I don't know how we would do that for sure. But yeah, this will be the general look of it. I think these might actually be a bit smaller, so maybe not quite so big. There we go. They're all so different and pretty. I love it. And clearly, I mean, they still go together really well. But man, when we first did this one and then this one right after, those felt just like so different. Like this one is light and checkerboardy. This one's so dark. But, you know, with all the other ones, it's just going to go together. Awesome, you guys. All right, let's call it an evening here. All right, hello, hello. Got the fire going back there. All right, so here it is again. There we are. Oh, I love that little, that classic blue, that dark blue going around here. Oh, just started paying attention. So Lois, this is the Granny Squares quilt. It is on the it's on the allpeoplequilt.com website. I think it's like $6 to download, and I printed it out. I think they actually have a paper version too. I did put a link below here, so you can just check that link. I'm not affiliated with it at all, but there it is. It is so fun so far. I am loving it. It's fun. So that's actually it for this project until next month. Next week, we will be working on the Splendid Sampler 2 quilt-along. And then the week after that, we will be stitching up the Sloth Embroidery of the month. That'll be fun. I'm excited for that. You can check out the embroidery of the month on penguinandfish.com. And yeah, happy Easter to all of you as well. I already ate jelly beans for dinner. Now I'm having pizza and beer for dessert. So have a great weekend. I will see you on Monday. Good night.